Hey folks, this is Kalani. Patch 9.2 introduces new and exciting ways to gear up your characters. There are options for those of you who want to play by yourself and focus on open world content. You can dip your toes into dungeons and raids, or just kill other players in PvP for gear as well. But with so many options and the item levels of rewards being increased across the board, we decided to make things simple. We're going to break down every gearing option, how far you can get, and what's worth your time depending on what type of content you want to take part in. So here's our patch 9.2 ultimate gearing guide and how you can get up to item level 278 and beyond. Before we jump in, be sure to hit up that like button and subscribe so you never miss another video. One of the new ways to gear up in patch 9.2 that everyone will have access to is the cipher of the first ones. You've probably unlocked the cipher already, gathered up some of the currency, and researched a few traits, right? Well, you might not know that at the top left you have a cipher equipment level. As you spend more and more ciphers, this equipment level will increase, and as it increases, the item level of Zereth Mortis gear rewards will increase as well. The gear that you're looking for will have cipher equipment on the tooltip at the top in blue letters. So anything that rewards cipher equipment will have better rewards for you the more research that you do. If you hover over your cipher equipment level, it will tell you exactly how many more ciphers you need to spend to reach the next level. You're going to start at level 1, which will give you item level 233 rewards throughout Zereth Mortis. When you reach level 2, cipher equipment will drop at item level 239. At level 3, it goes up to 242. At level 4, it goes up to 246. At level 5, you'll get item level 249 rewards, and the max level 6 will give you item level 252 rewards. So you can get to item level 252 just by spending ciphers in this system and getting some cipher equipment from Zereth Mortis. You can earn cipher equipment from a variety of sources. It can be a reward from world quests in the zone. Daily quests also have a chance to reward cipher equipment, and you should almost always get a piece of cipher equipment out of your weekly box from the patterns within Patterns quest. A lot of story quests have also been rewarding cipher equipment with special effects in most cases, so you can get this gear from all over Zereth Mortis. As for how to get ciphers to spend in the system to up your equipment level, you can get them from daily quests, the weekly quest, from treasures, and from rares in the zone. If you are spending time in Zereth Mortis, chances are you're going to be getting quite a few ciphers just from playing. Just remember to spend them on research points and your equipment level will increase in the background. This is a fairly slow way to gear up when all is said and done, but it doesn't require any groups and you don't have to go into dungeons or raids or PvP. You can do it at your own pace and it happens almost naturally or organically as you progress through the zone. It's kind of cool. Another way you can get your hands on very easy, higher item level gear is by killing the world boss in Zereth Mortis. Quite a few pieces of gear can drop for each player, and the world boss is just so easy to kill. Pop on over, join a group, and whack away at the loot pinata. World boss loot is item level 259 this time around, so it's amazing for the effort you have to put in. It's also great for various other Zereth Mortis benefits too, so be sure to kill the world boss every week on every character you want gear on. Then we also have some new crafted gear options in this patch. The Crafter's Mark 4 allows you to craft item level 233 pieces of gear, which is going to be fantastic for anyone who needs a quick boost to their low item level. Maybe you're coming back to the game after a break, or you want to gear up alts quickly. Whatever it may be, 233 gear is a great starting point for this patch, and it can help you fill in some of the lower item level gaps in your gear. There's also the Crafter's Mark of the first ones. This allows you to craft a piece of gear with item level 262, which is absolutely bonkers really for a piece of crafted gear. The catch is that you can only equip one piece of this higher item level crafted gear, but with it being such a high item level, you should definitely get one of these pieces of gear, preferably in one of your important gear slots like rings, especially if you want to go after tier gear later on. Both of these Crafter's Marks require Honoured with the Enlightened Brokers, so you might have to wait a little bit before you can make them yourself or before you start to see them on the auction house. Another option that everyone is going to have access to is the Sand-Worn Relic vendor. This chap sells item level 246 gear for most slots, but you will need a special currency, the Sand-Worn Relics. You can get Sand-Worn Relics from exploring the Endless Sands area of the zone, kill rares, open treasures, complete daily quests over there, you know, the usual stuff. You can't farm them super fast, but if you'd rather have a gearing up path you can specifically work towards, and item level 246 gear sounds cool, this is also another option for you. Patch 9.2 also allows you to upgrade your legendary gear even further up to rank 7, which is going to be item level 291. Seeing as upgrading your legendaries don't really require any group content, everyone should be able to get at least one of their legendaries up to this crazy item level, giving you a massive power boost. To upgrade your legendary gear to rank 7, you will need 2000 Cosmic Flux. This is a new currency in patch 9.2 and it comes from a lot of different sources. You can get Cosmic Flux from almost any Zereth Mortis content, like completing daily quests, weekly quests, opening treasures, and killing rares. You can also get it from running higher layer Torghast wings, running Mythic Plus dungeons, and from killing raid bosses. You will also need a rank 7 base item for the upgrade. I know, another one. These will probably end up costing you a whole boatload of gold, sadly, unless you can craft them yourself. To craft a rank 7 item, you need to be able to craft your legendary item at rank 4, and you also need a vestige of the eternal optional crafting item. This vestige will increase the rank of your craft by 3, so crafting a rank 4 item with the vestige will result in a rank 7 item. This is the only way to craft a rank 7 item, so if you can't or don't want to do this yourself, the only other way to get the rank 7 item would be to buy it from another player or off of the auction house. Patch 9.2 is a bit special when it comes to legendary gear though, because this is the first time we'll be able to equip 2 legendary items at the same time. It's not quite as simple as putting 2 different legendaries on though. The only way to use 2 legendary effects is to have one normal Shadowlands legendary and a new special legendary that only comes from patch 9.2, a Unity legendary. The first way you can get this special second legendary is to complete chapter 7 of the new story campaign. Seeing as we only have one new chapter per week, that's gonna take a little while, but eventually we will get the Belt of Unity, which is item level 265, and you can equip it as your second legendary. The second way to get the second legendary is to buy the Memory of Unity from the Enlightened Broker vendor. You do need to complete chapter 7 of the story anyway, so you can't get this before the belt, but you also need to get revered with the Enlightened Brokers, so there's a rep grind involved as well. This memory will allow you to craft the Unity legendary effect on any gear slot you want, so it doesn't have to be a belt. You can pick the stats obviously, and then you can also craft it at rank 7, which will be item level 291. So having 2 legendary pieces of gear at that crazy high item level is going to be insane for your overall character power. While we're on the topic of legendary gear, I would recommend you double check your best legendary options and their gear slots before you start crafting as well. With the double legendary in effect and tier gear taking up several slots and potentially changing how you play, your best legendary might have changed and you might want to craft it on a different slot. Moving on, one of the best ways to gear up has always been through raids, and patch 9.2 will bring us a brand new raid, the Sepulchre of the First Ones. This is an 11 boss raid, and the last 3 bosses drop even higher item level gear, so it's going to be a fantastic option for gearing up. Normal raid gear is going to be item level 252, with the last 3 bosses dropping 259 gear. Heroic raid gear is going to start at item level 265, with the last 3 bosses dropping 272 gear, and then 1 week after the raid opens up, the Mythic difficulty will become available. Mythic raid gear is going to start at item level 278 this time around, of course with those last 3 bosses dropping even higher gear at item level 285. That is the highest gear you can get your hands on in the game right now, besides legendaries at rank 7 obviously, so Mythic raiders will be geared to the teeth as per usual. If you're interested in the looking for raid difficulty, that opens up at the same time as the Mythic raid, and the wings will open as the weeks go by. The item level of LFR is going to be 239, with the last 3 bosses dropping item level 246 gear. The raid is also going to give you the most reliable access to the new tier sets coming in 9.2. Every class has a tier set with special 2 set and 4 set bonuses that activate when you equip that many pieces of your set. Some of these effects are incredibly powerful and they're going to give you a huge boost to your character's overall performance, so acquiring them as quickly as possible is going to give you a big edge over the competition. Tier gear drops from 5 different bosses: Lehuvim the Principal Architect, Halondrus the Reclaimer, Anduin Rin, the Dreadlords, and Rygolon. Killing bosses in the new raid will also fill up your raid weekly vault row, which is just another chance at huge gear upgrades. The more bosses you kill and the higher difficulty you clear, the better rewards the weekly vault will have for you when the reset rolls around. You can also get tier gear from the weekly vault for raid rewards, so that's even more reason to kill as many bosses as possible. Moving on, let's talk about gearing up through dungeons. All of the item level rewards for dungeons have been increased significantly. Even the easier difficulties will be more rewarding. Normal dungeons will give you 210 gear, heroic dungeons will give you 223 gear, and then mythic dungeons will give you 236 gear. If you really want to push your item level up from running just dungeons, you'll need to take part in the Mythic Plus Keystone system once again. The higher the keystone you complete, the better the rewards at the end of your dungeon. Here's a chart for how that breaks down exactly. You can see to begin with, you'll be earning item level 236 gear in plus 2 keys, and it caps out at item level 262 gear from plus 15 keys. You can go higher than that, but the item level won't increase any further. Then of course we have the Weekly Vault. This is where your huge upgrades are going to come from. There are 3 rewards you can fill in just by running dungeons, and this is actually changing for Season 3. When Season 3 starts, you will need 1 dungeon, 4 dungeon, and then 8 dungeon clears to fill up the first, second, and third reward slot respectively, so that last spot is going to be easier to earn. Personally, I would recommend you always get at least 1 dungeon done on any character you're wanting to gear up. The Weekly Vault rewards are always huge for the amount of effort you put in, and running 1 dungeon can be super quick and easy, and you're guaranteed a shiny reward in your next weekly box. It doesn't even have to be a high level keystone, because weekly rewards are far higher than the content you complete to earn them. For Season 3, the Weekly Vault rewards scale from item level 252 all the way up to 278. So to get the highest reward in your Season 3 weekly box, you will need to complete a plus 15 key, so that's going to be your big goal if you want to get your hands on that awesome item level 278 gear. Another huge advantage of filling up your weekly vault is that any reward in here, including dungeon rewards, can give you tier set gear. So you don't have to run the raid to get tier gear, you can also get it from the weekly vault just by running dungeons. This is the first time tier gear has been made available outside of the raid, so be sure to run as many dungeons as you can to fill up the weekly vault to increase your chances of getting some tier gear as well. The Mythic Plus score from Season 2 will carry forward into Season 3, so it's going to work in more or less the same way, except everyone's score will be reset and everyone starts on an even playing field. The higher the keystone you complete, the more score you'll get for that dungeon, and your total score is a combination of all of your best dungeon runs. Remember that to maximize your score, you will need to run each dungeon on Fortified and Tyrannical. Mythic Plus score is going to be very important if you want to upgrade your gear from the Mythic Plus dungeons using the Valor currency. Assuming the requirements for each rank upgrade hasn't changed, you should be able to upgrade your gear to rank 6 without any requirements, but after that you will need increasing Mythic Plus score requirements to keep upgrading gear up to their max rank and maximum item level. The chart on screen should be useful to figure out exactly what you need for each upgrade. Acquiring the Valor currency is easy and straightforward. For each Mythic Plus dungeon you complete, you will earn 135 Valor, save up your Valor, and upgrade whatever items you want. Something a lot of players may have forgotten about are the Covenant Callings. They're still there, you still get 1 of them per day, and they still reward you with a small amount of Valor points. So if you want to get some extra Valor, but you don't really want to run extra dungeons, Callings might be a good option for you. The only other new thing for this season, as far as gearing up goes anyway, is the addition of the Tazavesh Mega Dungeon into the Mythic Plus Keystone pool. The dungeon has been split into 2, so you can get the lower half of the dungeon or the upper half of the dungeon, and all of the Tazavesh loot will drop at the higher item levels that we talked about earlier, and it will also be upgradable with Valor. There's a lot of quirky and weird gear in this dungeon specifically, so some of those items might be worth hunting down. And last but by no means least, we come to PvP. PvP gearing works a little differently because the gear is less powerful than you might expect outside of PvP, but much more powerful inside of PvP content. So if all you're interested in is smashing skulls, PvP is going to be a fantastic gearing option for you. In Season 3, the unrated PvP gear that you can buy with honor from one of the PvP vendors in Oribos starts at item level 203, which turns into item level 239 in PvP combat. You can upgrade this unrated PvP gear by taking the gear to an upgrade vendor and spending even more honor points. There are 7 ranks in total. You should be able to see a table on screen with all their ranks and respective item level rewards, so your unrated PvP gear can be upgraded all the way to item level 242, which turns them into item level 259 gear in PvP combat. When Season 3 opens up, you can start the rated PvP grind once more. Rated PvP gear is purchased from one of the other PvP vendors in Oribos, and you will need the Conquest currency. This gear starts at item level 249, which turns into item level 262 in PvP combat, and there are 9 ranks total. At the highest rank, this gear is item level 275, which turns into item level 285 in PvP combat, which is absolutely huge. Upgrading Conquest gear will cost you honor points, but you will also need to obtain a rating in one of the various forms of ranked PvP. The rating brackets are 1000, 1200, 1400, 1600, 1800, 1950, 2100, and 2400, and they each come with an increase in item level, so PvP gearing hasn't really changed too much in 9.2, you just have higher item level rewards to chase after. Now, even though the way in which you get gear hasn't changed that much, there is something special this time around for PvP. Any of your weekly vault rewards from PvP PvP also have a chance to give you tier gear. So just like the Dungeon Weekly Vault, you can get tier gear without going into the raid if you get lucky with your PvP Weekly Vault rewards. Before we wrap up this video, I want to talk about the Creation Catalyst. This is another system that becomes active in the Zereth Mortis zone 8 weeks after the patch launches, so the first day this system should be seen will be around April 19th, which means we do have a long time to wait, but when it becomes active, it will let you turn any piece of non-tier set gear into tier set gear, so you can take a headpiece from PvP, Mythic Plus Dungeons, or even the raid, pop it into the Creation Catalyst, and it will turn into the headpiece for your tier set in 9.2. You can do the same things with every slot that tier gear occupies, so if you haven't been lucky enough to get your tier set from the dungeon or PvP Weekly Vault, or even from the raid, when this catalyst becomes available, everyone will be able to specifically target tier set rewards to ensure everyone can play around with their 2 set and 4 set bonuses. And then the very last thing you might be interested in terms of gearing up won't necessarily increase your item level, but it will increase your character's power level. Conduits are still a thing, and every source of gear will also give you higher level conduits in 9.2. So if you're running Mythic Plus Dungeons or Raid specifically, you should be getting much higher item level conduits in this patch. A big difference for 9.2 is that there is not a simple conduit upgrade item, so the only way you can get higher conduits is to loot them directly. There are a few other items which might be useful though. When you reach friendly with the Enlightened Brokers, you can purchase the Font of Ephemeral Power. This will learn all conduits and upgrade them to item level 226. Very useful for anyone struggling to find conduits or upgrade them past item level 200. When you reach Revered with the Enlightened Brokers, there's another item that does the exact same thing, except it will boost them all to item level 239, making it a bit more useful. And then there is one other item that is significantly more powerful, but it has some pretty steep requirements. The Vessel of Profound Possibilities will boost all of your conduits up to item level 278, the max you can obtain, but you need to have one of 3 achievements. You need Keystone Hero, which I believe is getting a rating of 3k or above in Mythic Plus. You need to be elite rank in PvP, or you need to clear the new raid on Mythic. Those are like end game achievements, so the vast majority of players won't have access to this item, but for anyone who can get those achievements, you'll want to know about this one for sure. This item was also moved from the Enlightened Brokers and can now be found at your Covenant Quartermaster, just in case you couldn't find it anymore. And that should cover every gearing path available in the game right now for patch 9.2. Hopefully there's something in here that you're excited about, because no matter how you spend your time in game, whether you're a casual solo player, a hardcore dungeoneer, or a smash your face in PvPer, there are options for everyone for increasing your item level in this patch. How are you going to gear up in patch 9.2? Are you going to try and get that 4 set bonus as quickly as possible, or are you just going to go with the flow and see what Zereth Mortis brings you? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. A big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon and to everyone who's subscribed on Twitch. You can see their names floating by on screen. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss another video. Thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always I will see you next time.